Hey, what's up, everybody? Anton here from ecommercelifestyle.com, and welcome to the episode of the podcast. Today, we're doing another interview episode where I'm talking with Josh and Iria. They are members of Dropshipped Lifestyle. They've been part of the community since 2016, and we're going to talk about how to pick a niche if you're feeling stuck, if time's going by and you just can't make a decision. We're going to talk about how being responsive is a huge key to success and how it actually led to them just recently getting a sale for $24,000 for one order. So yeah, you definitely want to hear that. We are going to talk about how if you're not growing, you're dying, and what you could do to make sure there's always growth in your business. And finally, we're going to talk about how to go from $50,000 in sales in a month on a store to $100,000 a month on that same store. So great episode, lots of value. I'm excited for you to hear it. And with that being said, let's get into today's episode of E-commerce Lifestyle. Welcome to another podcast. This is another interview after a break for a couple weeks. And this is definitely an exciting one you'll want to hear, whether or not you were just out in Prague for a retreat. Today, I'm speaking with Iria and Josh. They are married and they're running now kind of a small network of stores. So really cool story and just hit some big milestones. So excited to hear about that, of course, be able to help the community and then hopefully be able to help them by answering some questions as well. So welcome, guys. Happy to have you here.
Yeah, nice to see you again.
Hey, nice to see you.
Yeah, definitely. And just want to say for everybody listening, if you're part of the community and you weren't in Prague, we should have like the recordings back by maybe I think the end of next week, the time I'm recording this. So definitely check them out. Check out theirs. Super helpful, especially when it comes to hiring and whatnot. And yeah, for everybody that doesn't know, they actually spoke out there about how to run a business as a couple, which is difficult, but they're making it work. So appreciate that. So I don't know, you want to take a minute and just let everybody know how you got into e-commerce to begin with and maybe when you started?
Okay. Yeah, so I joined Dropshipped Lifestyle years ago. It was, I believe, 2016? And I, like a lot of people, I went through the modules. My first struggle point was picking a niche. I know a lot of people do that, where I struggled. I struggled with it a lot. For almost 4 months, I just could not pick what I wanted to sell. And it wasn't until I basically brought along a partner, my spouse. She came in one day, she went through it, she went through the modules, and she said at the end of it, she said, "This is what we're gonna pick, this is the sell." And I said, "Awesome, it's out of my hands," and we ran with it.
I love that. And, you know, I'm sure people will listen that probably are in the same situation that you were in, where it's like, there's so many possible options and maybe everything's like not perfect and there's always something. And is this more opportunity or not? So it's actually, that's great that you had like two minds come together and you were able just to be like, all right, this is it, we're starting. I don't know, what advice, I guess, would you give on that? Like what made you think, Iria, choose faster and just get it into motion? Like what would your advice be for the person struggling?
My advice, I would say there is not a perfect niche. You gotta always work out a little bit with niche. Like in our case, we have niche, we have niche down, then we have decided to niche side. We've been like all the way around, but I would say people, okay, the niche is like a huge part of success of your store, but it's not the only one.
Right.
And there is always ways, like people struggle a lot with a niche and they're like, okay, this is why am I not succeeding? No, it might be that you are giving the right emphasis to your niche. And there is always a way to like tweak it, make it more B2B or add products or that's what I would recommend. So once you have like good choices, it's like if you go to a restaurant, the more you see and the more you see, the more complicated your decision gets, So if you have already like, I don't know, like 5 big niche, you think they're strong, just pick one.
Yeah, right.
Because you're gonna be overthinking. And worst case scenario, you know what's gonna happen? If like you could try to niche up, niche down, niche sideways, it doesn't work. Well, time to move forward, next niche.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And I think that's like the most important part, right? Like just because you chose it doesn't mean you can't pivot. And sometimes people think that means just shutting down their entire store, but it could also be what you guys did, which is, okay, let's just incorporate these products as well and kind of expand out. So yeah, just because you chose something doesn't mean the rest of your life you're committed to it and that's it and you're done. So
Yeah.
cool. I think that that's helpful. And yeah, just everybody, if you're stuck, just pick something and go, because if you don't, nothing's ever going to happen. So that's awesome. So you said, Josh, 2016, you signed up. So I guess you guys started sometime around there. Since then, I know from your talk in Prague, you've had some ups and downs, and now it's a lot of ups, which is amazing. Can you share a couple recent wins that you guys have had in the business?
Yeah. I would say our most recent win, we just sold our highest single individual sale of a product, and that was at $23,999.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
$24,000 sale. That is always cool to hear the little Shopify ding and then look at that and go, oh my gosh, 5-figure sale. It was really cool.
yeah, and the funniest thing about that sale, and the customer contacted me a Sunday, I don't know, like 9 p.m. The chat, and I answered him, and then I sent him an email with some information. Oh, okay. Actually, he was requesting match price from so he didn't came through our ads. He actually probably like find the ads on someone else, was not sure about their site, so he came to me and he's, can you match this price? And I was like, for sure I can sell.
Right.
And he's like, okay, if you from you, and I was like, okay. So I went to bed 5 a.m. and I wake up and I hear that ching. I couldn't go to bed after that.
So amazing. Yes, no, congratulations on that, because that's huge. And people always ask, right, when they see the screenshots and stuff of like one order for even, a few thousand, like 24,000, people are just like, all right, that's crazy. Like, how does that even happen? And like you said, like people are buying these things anyway, right? Whatever they may be. So they're going to buy it from somewhere. And it sounds like one thing that I know you both do with your team too, that helps you get the sale, is be responsive. So Sunday night, people are like, oh, okay, I'm just going to hang out and watch football, and like, the phone will be off and the computer will be off, which is fine. But, somebody's got to answer, because if that person, they're in that buying mode Sunday night, or they're comparison shopping, if you don't answer, or if live chat's disabled, they're going to go to your competitor's site, they're going to reach out to them. And if they respond, they're $24,000 higher in that month's revenue. So that's awesome. Were you on your phone doing it, or was it a VA, or were you like on your computer? How did that work out?
Oh no, I was in my phone. So we got our VAs, they Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and I kind of work also those hours. But then after that, disconnect. If I get emails, if it's not like for example, for a customer that wants to purchase something, if it's just like their update, or depending on how it is, I kind of disconnect, because that's what part of what we were talking. You gotta kind of have a schedule. You cannot 24/7 like. But I keep my phone usually, and I have the chat there.
Yep.
So that's an easy way. It's like getting a message from someone. You just answer back. So it was through the phone. I was watching TV. I just answered him back.
Awesome. So for people listening, like, and they might be thinking like, well, how do you get live chats on your phone? Which app or which tool do you use to manage that in your businesses?
We're using Talk to right now.
Talk to? Okay, cool.
Yeah, yes. I Tidio before. It works well, but I like more Talk to.
Okay. So, I mean, obviously a huge win. And I know another one is you're expanding, right? You've hired more people.
Yeah. So actually, since our retreat, we came back and we decided with that specific product, we've had so much interest in those over the last couple months that they have now justified their work. So I guess you would call that a niching sideways.
Yeah.
But in the last few days, we've really hammering on that new website, the next store, going with different themes, playing around with stuff. So yeah, that's going to be our next project. So that would make store number 3 we have live right now.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
We needed to came back from Prague like kind of quick, because our third VA was starting like exactly a week after the DSL convention. Yeah, so actually it was good. I put some things in practice that I learned at the DSL convention. So I missed like a couple of speeches. It was kind of hard for me to figure out I mean, but Stasia's one. And it's funny because I had it in my mind, you know, I knew I needed to do like Asana or Trello and like organize better stuff. But, you know, once you have so many things in your bucket list, it gets like so hard to prioritize. But I came from there and I was like, no, like this is my number one thing. Like especially if I already got like 3 people, you know, I gotta like, because they work in different areas. Like one works more in product upload and customer service. And so it have been easy to handle them. But this third VA, she works also in like content creation and customer service and order fulfillment. So she's like all around and she needs to be in communication with all the other VAs. So I came back and first thing, like I spent like a whole weekend just setting up my Trello, setting up like order process and task, and actually it really worked out. I would say that was a huge learn for us. At least it was something we knew we need to do, but you know, every time we go to a DSL convention, I feel like we come back with, okay, this is a new task. We gotta prioritize it.
Lots of homework, and with that being so organized now, we have now basically task loaded our VAs for the end of the year. They know what they need to do all the way to Christmas time. There's so much to always do.
Yeah, and that's why, like, it's great. Like, as you have more people, you got the, you know, the tools you need. But like, even for anybody that even has like one person, it does make it so much easier. Because like you said, you know, you can just set up what you want to happen, and it's this shared thing that everybody sees. So instead of checking in with people daily, like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this, we should try this. It's just like, here's what we're working on. Here's what has to happen every day, every week, every month, and yeah, just they execute. So that's good. And I know you said you've already had a bunch of things like takeaways to put into action, but just wait, because I know unfortunately you were sick the second day, but we have all those presentations again coming soon. So you'll be able to circle back, watch them again, and see all the rest of them.
There's always so much homework.
Right. Seriously, like even stuff that, you know, I heard, I'm like, okay, we're implementing this and that. So I came back and I don't know, after I was in, you know, Europe for like a couple of weeks, but I was sick. So like, I'm still kind of getting better and I'm like trying to execute on things, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a good time, but I got sick too much partying.
Yeah. I think a lot of people didn't dress for the Prague weather. We're so used to doing these beach retreats and living in the South that seems like a.
Speaking of that, I'll give a hint for everybody. You know, we said like Portugal, like I took a vote in the room. Do we want to do it in Puerto Rico, in Italy, or in Portugal? And like the whole room, everybody's hand shot up for Portugal. So my wife Tao has been like, you know, talking to all these hotels out there and everything. So it seems like next September, we're gonna have a nice beachfront hotel, like a sky bar, huge pool, but can't confirm yet. Still waiting on the contract to make sure it all works. But yeah, I think we're going to Europe again, but back to the beach for next year.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, one thing we try to do, and we've talked about it a bit, but try to help the people that are listening with like, okay, you know, you guys, obviously you've had a win. You have 3 stores now, got a massive order, and I'm sure you've had a bunch of them over the years. Like we talked about some ways that, you know, I guess things you work on. So trying different themes, niching sideways. Like what's something you would recommend for somebody that maybe is still in the beginning stages and they are kind of like stale? I think this is like the group of people that need the help the most. Maybe they launched their first store, right? They signed up for Shopify, got approved with the supplier, uploaded some products, set up Google Ads, a basic campaign. It's running in the background, but half a year's passed by. Maybe they got like 1 or 2 sales and nothing's happened. How would you advise them based on how you started, which was probably like that, to where you got today? Like what were the steps that you think led to the success you've had so far?
Okay. So yeah, one of the things that I think I am good at that I bring to the table is reaching out to suppliers and getting new people on board, getting more SKUs. I think on our first store we have over 1,000 different products, you know, and it's we always talk about getting you know, silver suppliers, gold suppliers. I don't think we're good at determining who that is, because we've had some real surprises. We've had people that thought these products were going to do mediocre and they become our day-to-day sellers, and you really don't know. So we just try to kind of go after all the brands in that niche, all the people, see what they do. You know, when you get into bidding on these, maybe people just aren't bidding on that brand. We end up selling a lot of them.
Yep.
So that was definitely something that helped us grow, is just continually growing through that, of getting more suppliers, more vendors, more SKUs. Yeah. You always need to be, I think we have 2 that we gained this week, and send them to the VA, start uploading products.
Yeah. Yep. And that's important. Like the worst part is uploading products, right? Like nobody likes to do that. So I know you guys have somebody on your team that handles that. But I think another takeaway, don't stop, even if you make some sales, even if you're successful, but especially if you're not making anything, don't just think like, I got 3 suppliers and we're done here. This isn't working. Yeah.
I would say a pretty general tip, it's if you're not growing, you're dying.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's always something to do, like get more suppliers or make your store look nice, working, or like the about us, like maybe you just have a very generic, like we're an online retailer with warehouse nationwide, like come on, like do something better, there is always more content to create. So or create new collections. Something that I've seen a lot, it's like maybe how I first set up my collections, not like how people, like if I would be shopping, how I would be shopping. So try to think you're a customer in your store, and then how you would be searching things, and like maybe you cannot even find them. So how are you think customers are going to be able to find them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So work on navigation and content.
So much to do.
That's the truth, right? There's always something. There's literally always something. So that's why, like, also when you said you're getting into the project management tools, it's a great way to make sure that even if you're away, somebody's putting that time in, because that's what it takes. You got to always be optimizing, always be updating. So cool. I think that's really helpful for everybody. The third thing that I want to be able to do is hopefully help you in some way. So did you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I think our next stretch goal is to really get to that 100K a month in sales. It seems like consistently getting there, running a store that does 50K a month comparative to 100K a month, it seems like there's a lot more to do on that, and that's just something that a threshold we would like to break consistently, because that's another thing is maybe you do something like that 1 month, but how do you do that 12 months?
Right.
So,
yes.
I believe that maybe that for us is going to get into private labeling, utilizing Instagram influencers, some of these paths that we haven't gone down yet.
My advice for that, right? You want to go from 50 to 100. The first thing that I would do is see how far you could stretch what you're working with. So, similarweb.com, take your top competitors' URLs, put them in there, see what they get monthly visitors compared to yours, and then see if they're getting, 4 times, 5 times more visitors than you. Then there's more opportunity to advertise even further. What's cool about SimilarWeb is they also will tell you traffic sources that are sending the traffic to your competitors. So you might see that 40% of their traffic is coming from Facebook and yours is 5%. So, okay, we want to shift focus there because that's where they're sucking all these people in from. So definitely do that. Another thing that you could definitely do, you already have relationships with your suppliers, you're making money for them, is just ask them how you're doing comparatively to your competition, and try to get a feel for, maybe you're selling $30,000 a month for supplier A, see if that's like, are you one of their top retailers, or are you, somewhere in the middle, or are you barely moving anything compared to the bigger people? So that also will help you to gauge. If they tell you you're the best already, you could bump it up, but not as much as if you're, number 10 on the list. So talk to them, see what they have to say. They should be more than happy to tell you. And then from there, the other things like that you mentioned with private labeling, what I was saying about that is it's definitely worth doing, especially because you both work hard and like this is, you're going to grow this, you're serious about it. Just it's about like how you get into it and kind of what your expectations should be. So like in the short term, private labeling wouldn't take you from 50 to 100, but it will, can grow your sales and it can also increase your margin. So it's a good thing. But my advice on that and how to start was to go to like your top retailers, and not just like the biggest ones, but the ones that you have really good relationships with, and then see if you can somehow collaborate with them. So if they're making the products, you're selling their products already, see if they're willing to make a version that you can have as your own. You make up your company name, that's on it, they ship it under your name, and then they have like an equity in it, they get a percentage of it too, but your margins will still be higher. You can charge whatever you want. And then if you want to bring on other retailers, you could do that as well. And the benefit of that as a way to like get into private labeling is you're working with their expertise. They already make the stuff. They already have distribution figured out. You already have a relationship with them. So that's kind of like the easiest way to start. And then, from there, if you ever wanted to develop even another brand or add more products, you could reinvest that money into working with another supplier in the States or, anywhere in the world. But that, like I said, I don't like in the short term, that's not like a double your revenue thing, but it is like bump up your margins in a significant way thing. So I think it's worth doing either way.
Yeah. And I think a huge win for us has been doing both as kind of a takeaway, long-term and short-term growth. So like, for instance, SEO has been a huge thing. We hired a writer, and then that isn't going to double your sales overnight for sure, but long-term, having all this content out there, these different written articles, that's been another growth thing that we've seen, and we've had it now that we're starting to reap some of those rewards.
Yeah, and that well worth it. Just one more thing. I know, like, I remember on the bus, right, when we were out in Prague, like you're talking about like business formations a little bit and LLCs and how to break up the businesses. If and when you do the private labeling thing, that from the start, I would definitely recommend have it under its own business. Because what's cool is it also, like you're talking about building other assets, like that does become an entirely different asset. So 5 years from now, you want to sell your store, you could sell your store, you can keep the brand, you could sell the brand, you can keep your store, you could do whatever you want. You could sell the store in 2 years and sell the brand in 10 when it explodes. So from the beginning, I would recommend keeping those separate from each other.
Sounds like it just gives you options when you do it that way.
It gives you options. It makes the books cleaner, so you know exactly how profitable that one thing is. So yeah, that's the way to go there.
All right.
Yeah, definitely though. I think like the thing that you guys could do the quickest, especially because you both work on this and you have the team, is see where you rank in terms of your market, and then find out what they're doing, and then just, start doing that and spy on them and do a better job of it.
Yeah. That's a good theme with that is we're not trying to reinvent the wheel in our niche. We just see what's working for other people and see if we can maybe optimize and do it a little bit better.
Definitely. All right, cool. So, anything else?
I think that'll be it.
Yeah.
That's it?
I think that's it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know you guys have plenty to work on as is, but I appreciate it. Thank you for for hopping on this call. We're going to share with the community. I'm sure they're going to get a lot of value, and definitely everybody listening, check out their speech from Prague. Probably be the end of September 2019. I have no idea when you're listening to this, but check it out then in the members area over at Dropship Lifestyle. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Hey everyone, Anton here again, and I hope you really enjoyed that episode as much as I did. If you did, please hop on over to iTunes and leave a review for the podcast. Just look for e-commerce lifestyle. It takes you like a minute or two, and it really means a lot to me. Helps us spread the reach and make more episodes. So again, we really appreciate a review over on iTunes. Also, if you just listened in and you're not part of Dropship Lifestyle, which is our award-winning coaching program, actually voted best e-commerce course by Shopify, hop on over to dropshipwebinar.com, DROPSHIP webinar.com, and you can get a full 3-hour training there that I put together for you for free, plus a list of 237 niches that are great for the dropship lifestyle business model. Again, dropshipwebinar.com. And at the end of that presentation, I promise you it's not a sales pitch, but I do make you an awesome offer for our program. So again, dropshipwebinar.com. Thank you, appreciate you, and I'll talk to you in the next episode of E-Commerce Lifestyle.